When my daughter looked me in the eyes and said, "Mom, your hormones are making you paranoid. Step down before you embarrass yourself further," I signed the papers with shaking hands. Not from menopause, but from rage I couldn't show. 4 days later, she was on her knees in my living room, mascara running down her Botoxed face, begging me to save her from federal prison. Jennifer was about to learn that the hormonal old woman she dismissed had been playing chess while she was playing checkers. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Let me tell you how I destroyed my daughter's life using nothing but a recorder, a safety deposit box, and the FBI phone number she never knew I had. My name is Catherine Liu. I'm 67, widowed, and until last week, the CEO of MedTech Innovations, a medical device company worth $45 million. I built it from my kitchen table while breastfeeding Jennifer, coding software while she slept, pitching investors with her in a baby carrier. For 35 years, that company was my other child. The one that never talked back. The one that never disappointed me. How wrong I was about that. Jennifer joined the company 5 years ago, Harvard MBA in hand, engagement ring from Marcus Chen sparkling on her finger. Marcus, a consultant who drove a Lamborghini but never seemed to consult on anything specific. "Mom, you need to modernize," she'd say at every board meeting, loud enough for investors to hear. "These prehistoric methods won't work anymore." Prehistoric, like safety testing, like FDA compliance, like not killing patients for profit. The ambush came on a Tuesday. I was reviewing our newest cardiac device, a 7-year project that would help premature babies survive heart defects. Jennifer walked in with Marcus and 3 men in identical suits. "Mom, we need to talk about your mental state." Mental state? I was sharp enough to notice she'd been moving money for months. "The board has concerns," she continued. "Your emotional outbursts, your obsession with Dad's death, these conspiracy theories about the accounting." Conspiracy theories. I'd questioned why $3 million had vanished into consulting fees. I'd asked why our supplier contracts were suddenly routed through the Cayman Islands. I'd wondered aloud why Marcus's associates were visiting our manufacturing floor. "Jennifer, those aren't conspiracy theories. Those are legitimate questions about nothing, Mom. This is exactly what we mean. You're seeing problems that don't exist. Menopause can cause paranoid delusions in women your age." She pulled out her phone and played a recording from last week's investor call. My voice, but edited, spliced, words rearranged to sound like dementia. "The purple elephants in accounting need investigation instead of the discrepancies in accounting need investigation. Technical masterpiece, completely fabricated." But the 3 men were nodding like concerned doctors. One even took notes. "Who are these people?" I demanded. "Medical professionals," Jennifer lied smoothly. "Here to evaluate your competency. They weren't doctors." I recognized one from Marcus's Instagram, a mob lawyer from Vegas. But what could I say? That my daughter brought criminals to steal my company? That would sound exactly like the paranoia she was selling. "Sign the transition papers, Mom. Keep your dignity. Full pension, health care. You can even keep your office for 6 months. 6 months. Like a terminal diagnosis." Marcus stepped forward, cologne expensive enough to buy a car. "Mrs. Liu, Jennifer's trying to protect you, and the company, from yourself, from myself." The woman who built this empire was suddenly its biggest threat. I looked at my daughter, searching for the girl who used to leave me crayon drawings signed. For the best mommy CEO in the world. That girl was dead, murdered by greed and a Wharton education. If I don't sign, then we invoke the competency clause. Public hearings, psychiatric evaluations, your reputation destroyed in court. She'd planned every angle, sign quietly or be humiliated loudly. I signed. What would you have done with 3 mob lawyers and your own daughter united against you? The pen felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Each letter of my name was a nail in my professional coffin. Jennifer smiled, the same smile from her kindergarten graduation. Except now, it was a predator's smile. "You're doing the right thing, Mom. Dad would be proud." "Don't you dare mention your father," I thought, but didn't say. "Richard died 2 years ago, holding my hand, making me promise to protect the company. Promise broken in blue ink on a transfer document. As security escorted me out, security I'd hired, trained, Gave Christmas bonuses to, I heard Jennifer on the phone. It's done, she signed. Move everything tonight. I sat in my Mercedes in the parking lot, watching employees leave my building, MY building, with my name still on it. For now, Jennifer would change that within a week, probably to something generic and forgettable, like her conscience. My phone buzzed. Dr. Angela Morrison from Stanford Medical. Angela had been my first major client, back when MedTech was just me and a prototype that barely worked. Catherine, what's this email about you retiring? That's not the Catherine Lou I know. It wasn't exactly voluntary, Angela. Long pause. Jennifer? Jennifer. Catherine, I need to tell you something. We rejected the latest device shipment. The quality was completely wrong. Different materials, different specifications. Someone's shipping counterfeits using your company's name. My blood turned to ice water. Not from menopause, from understanding. When did these shipments start? 3 months ago, right after your signatures supposedly authorized a new supplier. Dragon Medical Supplies, based in the Cayman Islands, I finished. How did you know? Because my paranoid delusions were actually pattern recognition, Angela. Can you send me everything you have? Catherine, if someone's shipping counterfeit medical devices, people could die. People probably already have. Check the cardiac units. Any unusual failures in the last 3 months? I heard typing, then Angela's sharp intake of breath. 3 infant deaths. Post-surgery complications with our pediatric cardiac devices. We thought it was surgical error, but it wasn't. Angela, don't install anything from MedTech until you hear from me, and document everything. I drove home to my empty house in Palo Alto. Richard's presence still everywhere, his reading glasses on the counter, his coffee mug in the sink where I couldn't bring myself to wash it. What would he think of his daughter now? I went to his study, to the safe behind his portrait. Inside was something Jennifer didn't know existed. Richard's insurance policy. Not life insurance. Evidence insurance. My brilliant, paranoid husband had installed cameras and recording devices throughout MedTech for security purposes. Everything fed to a private server Jennifer had never found because Richard had hidden it in the one place she'd never look inside the sewing machine in my craft room. The daughter who sneered at my housewife hobbies had never realized that sewing machine was a $50,000 computer in disguise. I pulled up the feeds from the last 6 months. There was Jennifer, meeting with Marcus and men who looked like they'd stepped out of a crime documentary. There was Marcus, replacing legitimate inventory with boxes marked in Chinese. There were the consulting fees, bribes to hospital administrators who agreed to accept the counterfeits without inspection. My daughter hadn't just stolen my company. She'd turned it into a weapon. The most damning recording was from 2 nights ago. Jennifer and Marcus in the CEO office, my office celebrating with champagne. The old bitch actually bought the menopause angle, Jennifer laughed. As if hot flashes make you stupid instead of just uncomfortable. Marcus kissed her neck. 3 more months, and we'll have moved everything offshore. $45 million in clean money, $10 million in legitimate devices we can sell privately. What about the investigations when people die? Jennifer asked. Your mother takes the fall. Her signature's on everything. The crazy old lady who lost her mind after her husband died, shipping defective products in her grief-induced psychosis. They'd planned to destroy more than my company. They'd planned to destroy my legacy, my reputation, my freedom. Frame me for murder while they counted money in a non-extradition country. I made a copy of everything. Then I made another copy. Then I made 5 more copies, because I'd learned from Richard paranoia is just preparation when people really are trying to destroy you. 1 copy went to the safety deposit box. 1 to my lawyer, 1 to Angela, 1 hidden in my house. And 1 hand delivered to someone Jennifer had forgotten existed. Special Agent Patricia Chang, FBI Healthcare Fraud Division, and my former college roommate. Patricia hadn't changed much in 45 years. Same sharp eyes, same take no prisoners attitude, same ability to spot a lie from across a room. We sat in her office at the federal building. My evidence spread across her desk like a buffet of crimes. Catherine, this island. Extensive. Your daughter's looking at 20 years minimum. Marcus, probably life. He's connected to the Torino crime family. The WHO, International Medical Device Trafficking Ring. We've been trying to crack them for 5 years. Your daughter just handed us the entire operation on a silver platter. She doesn't know what she's gotten into? Patricia gave me a look that said everything. Catherine, she knows. These emails show she initiated contact with them, not the other way around. She sought them out specifically because they could move the counterfeit products. I stared at an email from Jennifer to someone named Tony Torino. My mother's an old fool living in the past. Once she's gone, we can modernize operations. I can deliver the entire West Coast medical network. My own daughter had advertised my destruction like a LinkedIn post. When do you arrest them? Not yet. We need them to complete the conspiracy. Right now, it's mostly planning and preparation. We need the actual crime. 3 babies are dead, Patricia. That's not actual enough? That's Marcus's operation. Jennifer's insulated herself. We need her actively participating in the fraud, not just enabling it. So what do? You go back, play the defeated old woman, let them think they've won completely. You want me to pretend everything's fine while they murder children with fake devices? I want you to get close enough to record Jennifer personally authorizing the shipments. 1 recorded confession, and we can take down everyone. I can't. She'll know something's wrong. No, she won't. Because she thinks you're a menopausal idiot who can't remember where she put her reading glasses. Use that. Patricia handed me a recording device disguised as a pendant. Wear this. Get her talking. Parents love to confess to parents. It's psychological crack cocaine for criminals. That night, I called Jennifer. Put every ounce of defeated mother into my voice. Sweetheart, I'm struggling. The retirement, losing the company. I don't know who I am anymore. Jennifer's sigh was theatrical. Mom, it's for the best. You'll see that eventually. Could I visit the office tomorrow, just to say goodbye properly? I didn't get closure. The therapy speak Jennifer loved. I suppose that would be okay. But Mom, no scenes. No crying in front of employees. Of course not, dear. I just want to see it one more time. Maybe you could show me what you've changed? I'd love to see your vision realized. Her ego ate it up like candy. Actually, yes. I'd love to show you the improvements. You'll see why this transition was necessary. The next day, I dressed like a grandmother going to church. Pearls Richard gave me for our anniversary. Sensible shoes. Hair in the same style I'd worn since 1995. Every detail screaming harmless old woman. Jennifer met me in the lobby, power suit sharp enough to cut glass, smile practiced in a mirror. Mom, you look comfortable. Code for old and irrelevant. She walked me through my company like a realtor showing a house. We've eliminated the redundant safety protocols, streamlined manufacturing, reduced costs by 60%. How wonderful, dear. And the quality? Actually improved. Our new suppliers have cutting-edge facilities. Cutting-edge, Chinese warehouses with no oversight, but I smiled and nodded. It sounds very modern. In the manufacturing area, I saw boxes being prepped for shipment. Hundreds of them. Each one a potential murder weapon. Big order? I asked casually. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Pediatric Cardiac Unit. $10 million contract. $10 million worth of devices that would kill children. My hand went to the pendant, making sure it was recording. Jennifer, aren't you worried about liability? If something goes wrong? She laughed, actually laughed. Mom, that's why we have lawyers. Besides, nothing will go wrong. And if it does? She paused, checking if anyone was listening. Your signature is on all the supplier contracts. The confused old lady, who shouldn't have been running a company. Very tragic, really. There it was. Recorded confession. My own daughter planning to frame me for mass murder. That's very clever, dear. I learned from the best, Mom. You always said to plan for every contingency. I don't remember teaching you to plan for murdering children. The words slipped out before I could stop them. Jennifer's face changed instantly. The mask slipped, revealing something cold and reptilian underneath. What did you just say? Nothing, dear. I'm just confused. Menopause, remember? But she was already pulling out her phone, calling security. My mother's having an episode. Please escort her out. But I wasn't done. Not even close. Jennifer, those devices you're shipping to Philadelphia, they're counterfeits, aren't they? Mom, you're talking nonsense. Security's coming. Is that nonsense? Or is it what you told Marcus 2 nights ago in my office, while you were drinking champagne and planning my imprisonment? Her face went white. How could you possibly know about that? The same way I know about Tony Torino, about Dragon Medical Supplies, about the 3 dead babies at Stanford. Security arrived, but I pulled out my phone, showing them my FBI contact. Gentlemen, I'm here on federal business. Agent Chang is on her way. Jennifer grabbed my phone, saw Patricia's name, and I watched her world collapse in real time. You wore a wire. You fucking wore a wire on your own daughter. No, sweetheart. I wore a wire on a criminal who happens to share my DNA. She tried to run, actually tried to sprint for the exit in her Louboutins, made it about 10 feet before FBI agents came through every door. Patricia personally cuffed Jennifer while reading her rights. Jennifer Liu, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to distribute counterfeit medical devices resulting in death. Mom, Jennifer screamed. How could you do this to me? I'm your daughter. My daughter died when she decided profit was worth more than infant lives. You're just the monster wearing her face. Marcus tried the window. 5 stories up, but desperation makes people stupid. Agents caught him halfway out, his Armani suit tearing as they dragged him back. The entire office watched as their new CEO and her fiancé were perp-walked through the lobby. Some looked shocked. Others, the ones who'd been there since the beginning, looked relieved. Tony Rodriguez, my head of security, who'd been forced to escort me out, actually saluted me. Welcome back, Dr. Liu. Not back yet, Tony. But soon. Patricia pulled me aside. We've frozen all accounts, seized the counterfeit inventory. The legitimate devices will be returned to proper storage. What about the ones already shipped? Recall orders went out an hour ago. Every hospital has been notified. Will Jennifer get bail? Not with 3 infant deaths and flight risk. She's going straight to federal holding. That evening, I sat in my empty house, watching the news coverage. MedTech CEO arrested in massive healthcare fraud, Jennifer's Harvard graduation photo next to her mugshot. The contrast was poetry. My phone rang continuously. Reporters, investors, employees. I ignored them all, except one. Mrs. Liu? This is James Patterson from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. My heart stopped. We didn't install the devices, did we? No, ma'am. Your FBI alert came just in time. But I'm calling because we had a child scheduled for surgery tomorrow. Without the device, she'll die. How old? 6 months. Same age as the babies who died from the counterfeits. Mr. Patterson, I have a warehouse full of legitimate devices, the real ones. I can have them to you by morning, but your company is under federal investigation. My company Island, but those devices are my personal property, manufactured before my daughter's coup. I'll deliver them myself, Mrs. Liu. That would save her life. 6 months later, I sat in federal court, watching my daughter in an orange jumpsuit that clashed with her spray tan. She'd lost weight, her Harvard MBA worthless in federal detention. Marcus was at a separate defendant's table, his Lamborghini confidence replaced with the twitchy paranoia of a man who'd realized the Torinos don't forgive snitches. State your name for the record, the prosecutor began. Catherine Liu. Your relationship to the defendant? I gave birth to her. Beyond that, we have no relationship. Jennifer flinched. Good. Dr. Liu, please describe the events of March 15th. I told them everything. The ambush, the menopause accusations, the forced signing, but the real bombshell came when I played the recording from Richard's hidden cameras. The entire courtroom watched Jennifer and Marcus planning my destruction while laughing about the old bitch's hormones. Several jurors looked disgusted. One grandmother-aged woman looked murderous. Then came the evidence that broke everything open. Dr. Liu, what did you discover in the defendant's personal files? A diary. She'd been planning this since my husband's funeral. Patricia handed me the diary, Jennifer's handwriting clear on every page. I read aloud, Dad's finally dead. Mom's weak with grief. Perfect timing. Marcus says 6 months maximum before we own everything. Another entry. Convinced the board Mom's losing it. Mentioned menopause 5 times they ate it up. Old men love thinking women are controlled by their uteruses. And the worst one. Mom actually cried when she signed the papers. Pathetic, like watching a dog being put down. Except dogs are useful. The courtroom was silent. Jennifer's lawyer tried to object, but there was nothing to object to. These were her words, her handwriting, her cruelty documented in purple ink. There's more, I said. She has a section titled Contingency Plans. I read, if Mom discovers the truth, claim mental breakdown from Dad's death. If that fails, have Marcus's connections make her disappear. Make it look like suicide, grieving widow, lost company, very believable. My own daughter had planned my murder as a backup plan. The prosecutor let that hang in the air like poison gas. No further questions. Jennifer's lawyer tried damage control. Dr. Liu, isn't it true you were experiencing menopausal symptoms? Yes, hot flashes and night sweats. Not stupidity and blindness. But menopause can affect judgment. Counselor, are you seriously arguing that hot flashes make women incompetent? Should we remove all menopausal judges, senators, the millions of women running businesses while their hormones fluctuate? The lawyer retreated. Then Jennifer took the stand. Tried to play victim. My mother was always absent, always chose the company over family. Is that why you stole it? The prosecutor asked. To punish her? I didn't steal anything. I modernized an outdated operation. By shipping fake devices that killed 3 infants? That was Marcus's decision. I didn't know. Marcus actually laughed. Out loud. His lawyer tried to silence him, but he stood up. Your Honor, may I address that lie? The judge, intrigued, nodded. Miss, Liu recruited me specifically because of my Torino connections. She came to me, not vice versa. I have emails where she asks, and I quote, how many dead babies before someone notices? Her estimate was 10. The jury gasped. Several looked nauseous. Jennifer's lawyer sat down, defeated. There's no defending how many dead babies. The prosecution presented financial records. Jennifer had been stealing since before Richard's death. While I was nursing my dying husband, she was setting up offshore accounts. While I was planning his funeral, she was contacting crime families. The defendant didn't just betray her mother, the prosecutor concluded. She used her mother's grief as a weapon. She turned a widow's pain into a criminal opportunity. She looked at the woman who gave her life and saw only dollar signs and obstacles. The defense's closing argument was weak. Mental pressure, Marcus's influence, complicated mother-daughter dynamics. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. The sentencing hearing was 3 weeks later. The families of the dead babies were there. Jennifer had to face them while they described their loss. Emma was 6 weeks old, one mother said. The device was supposed to save her. Instead, it killed her in my arms. Miss Liu knew this could happen and shipped it anyway. For money, a father held up his son's photo. Charlie would be walking now, talking. Instead, we have an urn because Miss Liu wanted a Lamborghini. Jennifer stared at the table, probably calculating lost profits rather than feeling remorse. The judge, a woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen enough, looked at Jennifer with undisguised contempt. Miss Liu, you had everything. Education, opportunity, a successful family business to inherit. Instead, you chose greed. You weaponized your mother's grief, exploited her trust, and caused the deaths of innocent infants. You've shown no remorse, only regret at being caught. She paused. I sentence you to 25 years in federal prison. Jennifer's head snapped up. 25 years? But the plea deal. You refused the plea deal, Miss Liu. You chose trial. This is the consequence. Marcus got 30 years, plus whatever the Torinos had planned for snitches. As they led Jennifer away, she turned to me one last time. I hope you're happy, Mother. I'm not happy, Jennifer. I'm alive, which is more than you planned for me. She was gone. My daughter, or the creature that used to be my daughter, disappeared into the federal system. I felt nothing. Not relief, not sadness. Just empty, like a tumor had been removed, leaving a hole where something used to be. Patricia found me in the courthouse bathroom, staring at my reflection. You okay? I don't know what I am. You're a survivor and a hero. You saved hundreds of children. I raised a monster. How heroic is that? You didn't raise a monster. You raised a girl who chose to become a monster. There's a difference. That night, I returned to MedTech for the first time as CEO. The employees applauded when I walked in. Not forced corporate clapping, but genuine relief. Tony Rodriguez had tears in his eyes. We knew something was wrong, Dr. Liu. But she had us all fooled with the menopause story. Don't blame yourselves. She fooled me too, and I gave birth to her. I called an all-hands meeting, stood where Jennifer had stood to announce my retirement. We have work to do. Every device Jennifer shipped will be recalled and replaced with legitimate products at our expense. Every family affected will be compensated. Every process she changed will be reviewed. MedTech will emerge from this stronger and more ethical than ever. What about the financial losses? Someone asked. We'll survive them. Integrity is expensive. Lack of integrity is fatal. The real work began immediately. Forensic accountants uncovered Jennifer's full network. She'd been selling our legitimate devices on black markets while shipping counterfeits to hospitals. The profit margin was staggering. The body count, unforgivable. 3 months into rebuilding, I found something that shattered me all over again. Hidden in Richard's old files, a letter dated a week before his death. Catherine, if you're reading this, something has happened to me, and you need to know the truth about Jennifer. My hands shook as I read. Our daughter is not who we think she is. I've discovered she's been stealing from the company for years. But more disturbing, I found searches on her computer. How to induce heart attack. Undetectable poisons. Making murder look natural. I think she's planning to kill us both. Richard hadn't died of cancer. The cancer was real, but the sudden heart attack that killed him? Jennifer had murdered her father. I called Patricia immediately. We need to exhume Richard's body. The tests took weeks. Potassium chloride, injected directly into his IV while I was getting coffee. Jennifer had been alone with him for 10 minutes, long enough to kill the man who loved her. I confronted her in prison. She sat across from me, orange suit hanging on her shrinking frame. You killed him, not a question. Prove it, she said flatly. The potassium chloride proves it. She shrugged. He was dying anyway. I just accelerated the timeline. The company needed fresh leadership. He was your father. He was an obstacle. Just like you were supposed to be. No remorse, no humanity, just calculation. When did you become this? I asked. When did my baby girl become a murderer? I was never your baby girl. I was your project. The thing you fit in around the company. The inconvenience you managed between board meetings. That's not true. I loved you. You loved the idea of me, the successful daughter to complete your successful life. But you never saw me, the real me, the one who realized at age 12 that love is just leverage and family is just shared DNA. She leaned forward. I felt nothing when Dad died. I feel nothing now. I'll feel nothing when you die. That's who I am, Mother. That's who I've always been. I left the prison knowing I'd been mourning someone who never existed. The daughter I loved was a fiction, a performance Jennifer had maintained until it was no longer profitable. The real Jennifer was a sociopath who'd worn the mask of a daughter for 40 years. Angela met me for coffee the next day. How are you processing this? I'm not. How do you process finding out your child is a black hole where a soul should be? You survive it. You help others. You make meaning from meaninglessness. She killed Richard, Angela. She murdered her father for money. Angela reached across the table, held my hand. Then honor Richard by living. By rebuilding what she tried to destroy. 1 year later, MedTech was valued at $75 million. Every family affected by the counterfeits had been compensated. The legitimate devices had saved over 500 children. I'd turned Jennifer's crime into a catalyst for industry reform. New regulations requiring supply chain verification. Mandatory quality checks that couldn't be bypassed. The Jennifer Lou Prevention Act, they called it. She'd become a verb in the industry. Don't loo this up. I received a letter from her on the anniversary of her arrest. No apology, just a business proposal. She'd developed a revolutionary supply chain system in prison and wanted me to patent it. Even behind bars, she was scheming. I forwarded it to the FBI. Turned out she was trying to run a contraband network using medical supply principles. They added 5 years to her sentence. She wrote again, furious. You vindictive bitch. I'm your daughter. I wrote back one line, no, you're Richard's killer. She never wrote again. Good. Some bridges should stay burned. Some people should stay gone. Some daughters should stay dead to their mothers. The company thrived without her. We developed a pediatric cardiac device that became the gold standard worldwide. I named it the Richard Lou Heart Guardian. Every child it saved was a small victory over Jennifer's evil. We'd turned her darkness into light, her greed into generosity, her murders into life-saving innovation. Patricia visited on the second anniversary. Jennifer's made a deal. She's testifying against the Torino family. Let me guess, reduced sentence? She's trying. But murders have a way of sticking. She'll serve at least 20. What about Richard's murder? Harder to prove now, but she's already confessed to you. That's enough for civil suits. I don't want her money. Then donate it. Turn her blood money into something good. I did. The Jennifer Lou Victim Fund. With a specific irony, it only helped families affected by corporate family betrayal. Parents whose children had destroyed them for money. Children whose parents had sold them out for profit. Every check written from Jennifer's seized assets helped someone she would have victimized. The media loved the story. Mother's revenge. The woman who chose justice over family. How one mother stopped a medical murder conspiracy. But they missed the real story. This wasn't about revenge or justice. It was about survival. About refusing to be another casualty of someone else's greed, even when that someone came from your own womb. I did interviews, not for fame, but for warning. Watch for the signs, I'd tell parents. Entitlement that becomes cruelty. Ambition that becomes obsession. Love that becomes manipulation. Don't excuse it because they're family. Family makes betrayal worse, not forgivable. 5 years have passed. I'm 72 now, still CEO, still fighting. Jennifer serves her time in federal prison, teaching business classes to inmates probably planning their future crimes. Marcus died in prison, a suicide that looked remarkably like Torino justice. The company is worth $100 million, every penny clean, every device legitimate, every life saved a repudiation of Jennifer's choices. I visit Richard's grave weekly. I avenged you, I tell him, but I couldn't save her. She was gone before we knew to look. Sometimes I imagine his response. You saved yourself. That's enough. Is it? Is surviving your child's evil enough? Is justice without reconciliation enough? These questions have no answers, only echoes. Young entrepreneurs seek my mentorship. I tell them all the same thing. Success without conscience is failure waiting to happen. Your character is your true capital. Everything else can be rebuilt except your soul. Some listen. Others have Jennifer's hunger in their eyes. Those I watch carefully. Those I document thoroughly. Those I keep away from anything vital. The families of the babies Jennifer killed stay in touch. They send photos of the children they had after, the ones who lived because we stopped the counterfeits. Your courage saved our future children, one mother wrote. Your daughter took our first, but you gave us our second. Bittersweet redemption. Lives saved built on lives lost. I'm writing a book about it all, not for money that goes to victims, but for warning. For women my age told they're too hormonal to think. For parents who see warning signs but excuse them as ambition. For anyone who thinks family means accepting evil because it shares your DNA. The title? The Daughter I Raised versus the Stranger She Became. Jennifer will be eligible for parole in 15 years. She'll be 55, still young enough to try again. But I'll be ready. Cameras everywhere. Lawyers on retainer. FBI on speed dial. She might be my biological daughter, but she's also the enemy I know best, the enemy I created, the enemy I'll fight until one of us is dead. This is my story. Not a happy ending, but a necessary one. Some of you watching have your own Jennifers. Family members who see you as obstacles to overcome rather than people to love, who mistake your kindness for weakness, your age for irrelevance, your trust for stupidity. Don't let them win. Don't sign those papers. Don't believe their tears. Don't finance their dreams with your destruction. And if you're a Jennifer watching this, if you're planning to destroy someone who loves you for money, remember this. Parents know their children better than children think. We see you. We document you. And when you move against us, we're ready. The hormonal old woman you're dismissing might just be the one to put you in federal prison. My name is Catherine Liu. I'm 72 years old, menopausal, widowed, and I took down a multi-million-dollar criminal conspiracy run by my own daughter. Because sometimes the greatest act of love is refusing to enable evil, even when that evil came from your own body, especially then. Subscribe if you need to hear this. Comment if you've survived your own Jennifer.